I wanted to do a pretty good design study, and this is honey locust that I got from Effie in January. Okay, had several logs of it, and so these were pieces that put in the kiln and dried. Well, there's some ring shank and some other things that wasn't real crazy about. I know I couldn't boil any of those since these had already been in the kiln anyway. But the other pieces I did some natural bowls, or regular bowls, and I got some ring shank in them there, and some splits and cracks, stuff that it just happens. This has got a big piece of ring shank to it. I think it's more the wood than it is the process. I mean, this is maybe just pieces that had ring shank in them. So anyway, never tried it before. I like the way boiled up. I just took my turkey fryer and put in, filled it with water and put in some tarragon and a little bay leaf and some bouillon cube. And anyway, tried to preserve some of the natural color. Anyway, boiled it for 3 hours. I know it's supposed to be 1 hour and then an hour per inch of thickness of the thickest material you got. And this is 13-inch bowl. So 3 hours I thought would be plenty. And it smelled nice and everything. So got it out and dried them off, and haven't turned it yet. So, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, if anybody has any ideas on the best way, we've talked about using alcohol, silica gel, all sorts of different kinds of ways, but I'm still looking for that perfect method to dry green wood and have it come out perfect. So I'll keep at it.
So I don't know if everybody realizes, but I've gone through 4 months of getting hips replaced. So after my first hip, I wanted to do something on a lathe that's kind of hard to stand in a spot and weave back and forth. But I threw this log up on a lathe and turned it, and I've got a plant. It's called an inch plant or a spiderwort, or a wandering Jew is what I grew up with. But it's in a pot that's really big, and it hangs down this low, and it's like I can't put it back on the table this year, so I need to build something like that. So this is the first time I turned something this big. This was a solid log here. I left the kind of natural edge here. The platform on the bottom is ash. This is cedar. The top piece is cedar. This was milled cedar, and it was only 6 inches wide, but I wanted to make the disc up here bigger so that it could hold the plant pot up there. So I actually joined it. It's the first time I joined something. So I put it through the table saw to have good edges on it, clamped it. And tight bond 3 was great to keep that going. And I drilled holes up here into 3 screws on there. I think there's only 1 screw on the bottom, and then on the bottom I used some project glue and epoxy and put those on so it would stay off the deck, so the deck wouldn't wear faster because it keeps the moisture in. So and this is big compared to everybody else's, and the guy that was up here with the little wine glasses and wine bottles is like, not gonna be making something like this in that scale anyways. So I had fun doing it. It was real easy spindle turning if you're used to doing spindle turning. So I think it was, and the design with the natural edge was kind of like, you get to practice that too. So it's fun.
I went out to Dave Stallings. He was giving away a lot of walnut and everything like that. And I saw some of these shingles that he had there and decided to try and do one of those potato chip bowls or plates or whatever. And it didn't work. But I mean, it was interesting. I thought, you know, it was like something I had not tried in this size before, and I thought it was dangerous enough.
And Bill, anybody that called in on Zoom have a challenge piece? Okay, so I got the one drawn and our number is 132. Kevin? Okay. For what she was helping you with these? Oh, okay. And, oh, is there any way to get Ann's picture and Zoom up on the screens? Because she's got her piece there. I'm trying to get you, Ann, so that we can see it. This is an experiment for us. There she is. There she is. Look at that. All right, Ann, explain to us what we're looking at. A square off center or no? Ann, can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted.
No, you're good. Now we can hear you.
All right. So this was just a an off-center bud vase that I had already turned. I don't have my lathe set up yet, but I wanted to see if I could ebonize it by burning it. So I went ahead and burned it, and didn't really like the way that it looked all that much. So then I got out the paint and sprayed it just to see. But I like the sides. I don't like the top, but it was something I hadn't done before and was just going to see what would happen to it.
It's very unique too.
It's different. I may take the sandpaper to it tomorrow and see, you know, what that might do. At this point, I think it's a lost cause, but maybe not.
Maybe not. You never know.
Let's see.
Well, thanks for sharing, Ann. And Mike has the keys to your new car. He'll be bringing them to you.
Great. Okay.
Being the winner tonight. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin's going to email you the certificate number for your new car, or the $10 certificate. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay. All right. Either one's fine.
All right. Thank you, Ann. Thanks for sending it in, or, you know, getting it in there.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to our show and tell table. So if you got a show and tell item, let's get them up here and get through these.
Okay, this was kind of along the line of the challenge, is also something that I always wanted to try and never had. So metal spinning. This was my first ever piece. I took in annealed the aluminum plate and made the form for it. They call it chuck. Captured it with a jam chuck in the tail stock and spun it, and then cut it with a single point. Polished it. So this is my first off. This was the second one that I made, and it is basically the same form on the top. I just added a deeper throat to the bottom, and I left the finish as it came off of the lathe. And so it's not polished, but I kind of liked it. So that was a lot of fun doing that, and I'm going to try some more. So that's it.
I was looking around the internet and found an English auction site, and they had a similar type base. The design is from like 1780, and it was something that was going, to auction. And I kind of did it. Needless to say, Dave Stalling has a lot of walnut, and so everything I'm going to be doing for a long time is going to be walnut. But I really like this idea, and of course, hollowing it out was like so much fun.
Let's say you're hollowing a piece and, you got to stop the lathe, try to look in there to see, all the chips and junk that's in there and get it out. Is it even? And you've got a big ridge in there. It's further than you could reach with your finger. Well, whenever at SWAT, there was a guy who was selling these little lamps here. Now this thing is so weak. It's plug in. This is a deal that just goes on your rest. Magnetized 4 LED lights that click on there like that. Then you plug this in. Turn on your switch. This thing is really bright. It doesn't look like it now, but I mean inside your hollow. Keep forgetting, sorry. Doesn't look right here, but shining inside your hollow form, when it's right, right there, it works real well. So it's like $30 or something, but I thought this is just the neatest thing. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with everyone. So if you have difficulty, trying to see inside your hollow form, and I've got lamps all over and everything, but they're over your shoulder and then they're not quite the right angle, but this is shining right in there all the time. And this is covered with clear plastic stuff that I think looks pretty durable. So as you're blowing chips and stuff out, I don't think it's gonna hurt it at all. So we'll find out. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I will this week.
So I'm going to finish it up tonight with, I got home last week, I think last Friday, and they had torn up my sidewalk because I had a root from my oak tree that was pushing up on the sidewalk, and it kind of put a peak on it, and they came through our whole neighborhood and was replacing sidewalks. Well, I come home and my wife thought I was crazy because I came in with a chunk that could look pretty much like this. And I told her, it's manna from heaven. I said, God just sent it down to me. But it had some of the most curly, unique looking grain on the outside and stuff. It was just like I had to see what it was like inside. So I turned this little bowl out of it, and it's all kinds of dimpled and rough now. It was perfectly smooth when I got done. But if you notice, there are a few little spots on it that are the rocks that the root grew around, which was the ABS rock that they put down before they poured concrete. Every time I'd hit that rock, instantly dull. So I would torque my gouge a little differently and go in at it again and get a little bit more and get a little bit more. But I think I actually probably sharpened my tool more on this little piece than probably some of the bigger bowls that I've done in the past, the whole time that I was working on them, just because of hitting those rocks. Instant dull, instant dull. But it was a fun project, and it just continues to change, and I don't know what I'm going to end up with in the end, but I thought it was a fun project. And it's funny, you know, just thinking that everybody else would look at this as something, hey, I'm going to throw it away. I was looking at it like it was just gold. So my wife just thought I was nuts. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. Show and tell's over. Got through a challenge, got through the fastest demo I've ever seen. So you know these things aren't hard. I'd like to see you guys produce a few ornaments and bring them in for the challenge in November. Hope that all of you are online next month and take advantage of our opportunity to see David Ellsworth do a little hollowing demo. And even more than the demonstration, I think if you just listen to this guy talk and the thing that the knowledge that he has behind things that he's doing, you'll pick up some valuable information that way too. So look for getting on that, and appreciate everybody coming and giving us our time. Appreciate all the variety and stuff that we got in the challenge and show and tell. I will see you all here in November. Okay. Oh, one question.
I'm with the Woodworkers Guild, and we have our meeting this Wednesday, and we're all in the same business. If you're interested in Matt Kenny, you know, the Woodturners turn round bowls, and woodworkers make square bowls or boxes. Matt Kenny wrote a book called 52 Boxes in 52 Weeks. He was an editor for Fine Woodworking magazine. He's done an educational program on Kumiko. He's giving a class all this week right here in this room on building boxes. It started today, goes through Friday. That was one of those classes you pay like $600 to attend. This Wednesday night, you get a chance to visit with him for free. Now, aligned with that, or I'm going to segue into, there's some really heavy equipment in this here, right behind the curtain here. There's a joiner, and there's two planers. And normally when I'm the foreman, when I come in on the second Tuesday, right after the Woodturners meeting, nobody else ever shows up to work with me because they know I've got to move a few thousand pounds of equipment and reset it back up on the floor. So I'd appreciate it if tonight, if you guys help me just move the equipment, put it back, put the chairs back, and that'll save my back, and I really appreciate it. And again, if you're interested, you don't have to be a member of the guild in order to attend the Wednesday night meeting. Matt Kenny is, I mean, he's nationally known, internationally known. I think you'd appreciate coming here Wednesday night and seeing him. Start at 7 o'clock.
That's two great opportunities here in the next month. So thanks everybody again. Any assistance in putting up the chairs and stuff is be appreciated, but I understand if you can't stick around, somebody got to get back. So thank you. Thank you, Kevin.